Refugees are here to stay!
Theresa May, here in Spain!
Refugees are here to stay!
Now let's do one for migrant workers. Theresa May, here in Spain! EU workers here to stay! Theresa May, here in Spain! EU workers here to stay! Theresa May, here in Spain! Theresa May, here in Spain! EU workers here to stay! Theresa May, here in Spain! Theresa May, here is Spain! And now let's do one for all migrant workers. Theresa May, here is Spain! Migrant workers here to stay! Theresa May, here is Spain!
Migrant workers here to stay!
Theresa May, here is Spain! Migrant workers here to stay! Theresa May, here is Spain! Migrant workers here to stay! Now Donald Trump wants to build walls, we want to build bridges. And we say brick by brick, wall by wall, racist borders have to fall. Brick by brick, wall by wall, racist borders have to fall. Brick by brick, wall by wall,
Racist borders have to fall!
brick by brick, wall by wall, racist borders have to fall. Brick by brick, wall by wall,
Racist borders have to fall!
brick by brick, wall by wall, racist borders have to fall. Brick by brick, wall by wall.
Racist borders have to fall!
Thank you all very much.
Thank you everyone and welcome. I am Sabi Dalu. I am co-convener of Stand Up to Racism. I want to say a big well done to all of you. This is the biggest ever march we've organised, marking UN Anti-Racism Day. Thank you everyone and well done. I'd like to say a particular thanks to the TUC, Unison, Unite the Union, PCS, UCU, the NUT, the NASUWP. All the unions have been wonderful and magnificent in supporting the struggle against racism, against Islamophobia, against anti-Semitism and welcoming refugees. So I'd now like to introduce our first speaker for this session of speakers. I'd like you please to give a very warm welcome to someone who has first-hand experience of what happens when fascism rises to power. I'd like you to give a warm welcome to someone who was a hidden child who had to flee Vichy France. Please welcome Colette Levy. Bonjour, buenos dias, assalamu alaikum. I'm pleased to be here today because I can see history trying to reduce itself, but we're here to resist. That's our function. I resisted from the age of 10 when my father was sent to a concentration camp and I had to go into a village and hide in a village away from my mother. With no life as a family. I never knew what a family life was, but that didn't make me a complete, subdued character. I've been a rebel all my life, and I'm still a rebel. I was involved for 10 years against apartheid. I was arrested 16 times, which is nothing. Some people were arrested 60 times, but I'm glad I will always fight back. I've got nothing to lose. I'm not afraid of anybody. I don't care whether they kill me. I'll still become a resistance all my life. And I tell you, I'm so happy to see so many people here of so many different backgrounds or origin or whatever you name it, whatever. All this multicultural, multi-everything. And that's what we want, to be all. Diversity is a great richness in the world. Well, I wish you to become resistant like me or like others, like all the people who fight back when they are attacked. That's it for today. Thank you very much, Colette. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is here representing Muslim Engagement and Development Men. She is also a GP. Please give a warm welcome to Dr. Saima Iqbal. Wow, what an introduction. Hello. Right, Islamophobia didn't start when Donald Trump signed the Islamophobic Muslim ban. It started ages ago. And I'm here today to say I've had enough. I have had enough of wondering whether my dad will be the next person killed on his way back from the mosque. I have had enough of telling my child not to say the word ISIS or ask me who ISIS are because he will be referred to prevent. I have had enough of telling my kids not to speak in Arabic on a plane in case we get thrown off. I have had enough of hiding disgusting newspapers like the Daily Mail so that my kids cannot read their hate-filled headlines. I have had enough of being viewed through a lens of security and suspicion because I'm Muslim. As a Muslim woman, I have had enough of being told what I can and cannot wear. I have had enough of my friends who wear hijab being afraid to walk in the streets for fear of being spat on or having their hijab pulled off. I have had enough of Jeremy Hunt blaming foreigners because he has willfully underfunded the NHS and brought it to his knees because he wants to privatise it. I have been enough of being told I am not integrated. I am integrated. But the reason I can say I've had enough is because the one thing Donald Trump has done, he has united us. Look at us. He has united us against fascism, Islamophobia, against being cruel to migrants. And today, remember this, racism is like a house fire. Just because it's affecting the Muslim community at the moment, it will spread, it will affect other communities. I can say I've had enough because you guys marched, you guys protested, and you guys have given me the courage to stand here today and say enough is enough. And for that, I thank you. Woo! Give it up for Saima Iqbal! I think it's very important that we show unity of all communities against racism, and in this movement against racism, we like to see Muslims, Jews, Christians, all different faiths, and those of no faith united against racism, Islamophobia, and anti-Semitism. Our next speaker is representing the Jewish Socialist Group. He's been a long-standing campaigner against racism and anti-Semitism. I'd like you please to give a very warm welcome to David Rosenberg.
Thank you. A great anti-fascist, Marek Edelman, said, "To be a Jew means always being with the oppressed, never with the oppressors." And his views echoed for me 2 days ago when I took 2 American Black Lives Matter activists to Cable Street, scene of the victory over Moses fascists in 1936. They wanted to learn what happened to the Jews then, and I learnt about their struggles against another filthy rich, populist, racist demagogue, Donald Trump. I told them that a grassroots movement, the Jewish People's Council, understood that to defeat anti-Semitism and fascism, you must build an anti-fascist majority. You have to turn bystanders into upstanders. You have to convince even those falling for racist ideas. We need to take our ideas into every arena, work, college, our neighbours, and build that anti-racist majority today. On the day that Paul Nuttall became leader of UKIP, he said, "We are now the patriotic party of the working class." If Mosley was alive, he would have done him for copyright. Mosley said the same exact words in 1936. Labour crushed UKIP in Stoke, but UKIP are not finished. They still win protest votes. Saying racism is wrong or bad is not good enough. We have to show that a multicultural society and immigration benefits all of us. And we have to make the fight against racism a fight for proper jobs, better housing, better education for all communities. Anti-Semitism is rising again alongside Islamophobic attacks. It has been decades since the far right publicly held banners saying Hitler was right. That happened last year. The Daily Mail, they supported Hitler all the way through the 30s. They accused Corbyn of anti-Semitism, but Jewish socialists know who the real anti-Semites are and who our allies are. Our allies are in every minority community that is a victim of race hate, and among everyone, like Jeremy Corbyn, who unites against race hate, misogyny and homophobia. Last point, racists accumulate and switch their targets from Muslims to Polish to Jews. We have to defend all communities under attack, unconditionally. With solidarity we will win. No Passerone!
Give it up for David Rosenberg! I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is here representing One Day Without Us and Black Lives Matter in Leeds. Please give a warm welcome to Marvina Newton!
So I want to do a little bit of a call and response. So when I say Black Lives Matter, you say Black Lives Matter. We're going to try to take it. When I say Black Lives Matter, you say Black Lives Matter. When I say Black Lives Matter, you say Black Lives Matter. Okay, if you feel uncomfortable with that, and if you're an All Lives Matter people, all life cannot matter until Black Lives Matter. It cannot also matter until Muslims lives matter, until migrants lives matter, until trans lives matter, until Jewish lives and everybody's life should matter. But at this moment, at this very second, my life is a bargaining chip. I'm told I'm a second-class citizen. I'm told that people should be worried about my melanin. I'm told that my identity is not good enough. And I'm told that I need to conform, fit into a box so you can digest me. And yet, Britain is not racist, you know. It's only an American thing. So why are we talking about it here? No, I have a black, as she says, a brown chocolate daughter and a son that look like me, and this system tells them they should know their lane. They would never know their lane because they are as British as you are. And if you don't like that, check your privilege. But today I'm here to speak to the non-racists. The non-racists are the people that I'm not racist though. I have a black friend. I go to the mosque to visit. I'm really a nice person. I go to bed and I never say anything racist. Check your privilege and don't get comfortable with that. It's about you taking action. It's about you marching today. It's about you being an ally and being here for me. It's not about you trying to understand what I'm going through. I can see my Muslim brothers and sisters and I would say, brother, I see you. Your life matters and I'm going to march against the Muslim ban. But I can also see my Jewish brother and say your life matters. And in migrants' lives, we build Great Britain. We build Great Britain. Great Britain would not be great without people like us. So you need to make sure you tackle Islamophobia. You need to make sure you say something when you see injustice, point blank. Don't try and justify it and be scared. If you do nothing, check on the victim. Make sure you just say, are you okay? Don't give the racist any mind. And Theresa May, I hope you can hear, there are many, many more of us than you. Thank you.
Wow, what an amazing, powerful speech by Malvina. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is here representing the biggest trade union in the country. We'd like to say a big thank you to Unite the Union for supporting this demonstration, for mobilising its members, and for making a financial contribution towards it. Please give a warm welcome for the National PAME Chair, Susan Matthews.
Greetings, all, one and all. I would like to first and foremost say greetings to everyone who makes it to today if really possible. I come today to carry a message for solidarity from Unite the Union, regionally and nationally, and our General Secretary, Herman McCloskey. Big up every time, who believe and promote equality, not just talk, but he promotes equality every chance and every opportunity. I'm the prime example of what Len McCloskey believes in, equality. We're here today to make sure we send a clear message to politicians, not just in Britain, but far and wide. As you're here today, there's many what unite us than what divide us. And I'm here to make a clear message that we have to be more vigilant. Because at times like these, we see people come out from all walks of life with indifferences, with indifferent beliefs, in different preferences. We have to be much vigilant for all our brothers and sisters, regardless of the color of our skin, regardless of the creed, regardless of the sexuality, regardless of what we look like or what we believe in. We have to be extremely vigilant in the workplace, in the community, in our neighborhood, and even in our personal home. We have to be vigilant. Hatred doesn't just begin in the street, it begins in the home. So we have to be vigilant, even within our home, when we're talking about hatred. Discrimination is a big part of society now because it's breed content based upon what propaganda that is spreading far, near and wide. So brothers and sisters, we're here today and with a clear message, you need to be vigilant. And vigilant meaning we take action. We don't sit and allow anybody to be treated differently regardless of what they believe in and what their practices are or their sexuality. And I'm here clearly to say we're going to stamp out all the isms, the sexism, the racism, the homophobia, every ism going. We're here today to stamp it out. The life criminalized, the strong we were stamping out all the isms. We march all the way today with a clear message that we're sending. We're stamping out all the ism in Britain. We're not tolerating it, we're not accepting it, and it's not welcome. This is a clear message to Rome. We're accepting your behavior. Are you tolerant? Please, I'm telling you, be very vigilant, because guess what? The worst is left to come, and we have to be prepared. We march today, but vigilance will help us guarantee and win for the future, for our children and our grandchildren.
Woo! Give it up to Susan Matthews. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is here representing the magnificent Public Sector Workers Union, Unison. I'd like to give a big thank you to Unison also. I thought because they're making too much noise at the front here, for mobilizing their wonderful members who have been singing and chanting magnificently on today's Lord, for mobilizing their members and for also making a financial contribution to make this their success. Please give a warm welcome to the Assistant General Secretary, Roger McKinley.
Thank you, Savvy.
the way this will get reported is that one or two people had a little walk around London today. That's what they'll try and say. We have to be really loud and clear about what it is we're doing here. We're not just against racism. We're not just against fascism. We're not just against Islamophobia. We are here to stand up for progressive politics in this country. That's what we must make loud and clear. Did you see the 3 or 4 fascists standing by? Did you see them? I mean, it's hilarious, really. Sad in lots of ways, but the chant that we made when we went past them, there's more of us than you, and that's what we must remind people when we go back to our communities as well, because it's not just enough to march around London today. It's not just enough to have done all the meetings that led up to today. What we've got to do is go back to our communities, go back to our workplaces and make our voices loud and clear. Go and argue with those people who haven't heard the progressive message yet. Let's go out and talk with people about what we stand for. There should be many, many more of us on these marches in the future. Because I'm also fed up with being told that we have to wait. I'm fed up with being told as a black man that you just have to be patient. We've had it too long. We've been told these things too long. I'm really clear that there's no black person that defunded the National Health Service. I'm really clear there's no black person who's responsible for privatising local government. It's the Tories that have done those things. It's the rich who are getting richer while our people get poorer. We have to stand up for what it is we believe in. Nobody else is going to do this stuff for us. We have to remember the words of Alice Walker. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. Nobody else is going to do this for us. We have to get out and we have to organise. And no one's going to pretend that this is going to be easy. It will be tough out there. People will ridicule us. People will say that you're wrong. What we have to do is gather strength from each other. We have to build our numbers. We have to go and build our trade union movement, but make sure that people who need our help see us when they need us, the refugees when they're under attack in their communities, that they see us standing by them and not just talking about it on a rally. That's what we have to do. It's time for action now. Words are good, but words are also cheap. It's time now for action from all of us. Thank you very much.
Give it up for Roger Mackenzie! I'd now like to welcome our next speaker, who is representing Manchester Stand Up to Racism and did a fantastic job of getting Mancunians down here in London today. Please give a warm welcome to Naila Ashraf! Hello, and assalamu alaikum everybody. Brothers, sisters, comrades, it's so fantastic to see so many people here today. And can I say personally that how good it is for me as a traditionally submissive woman to be given this opportunity to be. It's always good to fulfill the stereotypes, isn't it? And I also want to start by saying, and I never thought I'd say this, but actually, we do need to thank Donald Trump. And I know you're probably all surprised, but let's face it, in a matter of, days, he was able to mobilize mass numbers of people out on the streets across the world against him. He was able to build a movement of solidarity, of unity, that we could only dream of. He did that, and for that we have to say thank you. And you know what? He always said that he was really scared, all during his election campaign. He said he was scared of, the US being taken over by Muslims. Well, actually, it did get taken over by Muslims. When he enforced that travel ban, hundreds of thousands and millions of people came out and said, we are Muslim. So thank you for Donald Trump, because actually, that's what it felt like. Here in London, people came out in their thousands. And as a Muslim woman who's been attacked on the streets of London for wearing my hijab, I want to thank everybody that came out that day, because I can say I never felt so safe, and I never felt such solidarity and unity. And that's what this movement is about. So it's absolutely fantastic that we have so many people here today. But let's not forget that this is just the start of the movement. We have to continue the struggle. We need stand-up to racism groups in every city, in every town, in every workplace, in every college, in every university, because we have to stop the racism. And it's just not the minorities. You know, the EDL, the small place first group that we saw today, it's also our government. Let's point the finger clearly at Theresa May, because we need to ask this question: why was she the first leader to rush over and meet Trump? Well, I would say this: she's as bigoted and as racist as he is. She knew that ban was coming.
Nigel Farage.
She knew the ban was coming, so she laid out a state visit for him. That state visit is going to cost £10 million. But I tell you what, we'll take that £10 million and we'll give it to councils up and down this country, and we'll welcome refugees, because they're the ones welcome here, not Donald Trump. And let's also say this: well, it was absolutely fantastic that we came out in our thousands against the Muslim ban, but we need to continue to do the same when it comes down to migrant workers, because like Theresa May has said, going into the Brexit negotiations, everything is open for negotiations. Well, we say here and now, no. EU workers, migrant workers are part of our community. And just as we stand with refugees, just as we stand with Muslims, well, we stand with EU workers, we stand with migrant workers. They are part of our community, and we say hands off them. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Nyla. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker. This demonstration would not have happened without the support of the TUC. So I'd like to take this opportunity to give a very big thank you to Francis O'Grady and the TUC. So please, everyone, give a warm welcome to the TUC General Secretary, Francis O'Grady. Thank you very much, and I am very, very proud to bring greetings of solidarity on behalf of the TUC, the unions, and 6 million working people in Britain. I also want to give you a big welcome to those of you who are out celebrating last night, St. Patrick's Day. Because I'm proud to be here, not just as a trade unionist, but also as the daughter of an immigrant. Now, the TUC and unions, we oppose all forms of discrimination and all forms of extremism. And with that in mind, I know you will join me in sending our thoughts and our solidarity to all of those killed and injured in the attacks in Paris airport today.
Oh no, I hadn't heard about that.
There is no excuse for prejudice and discrimination. There is no excuse for hate crime. There is no excuse for violent attacks, for racism or for race. We are clear on that.
So that was I'm not listening to the news I heard at Paris airport.
But we've got to take action. We've got to tackle the root causes of racism and prejudice. And let's tell the truth. Too many jobs in Britain are bad jobs. Too many jobs are low paid and 0 hours. And there are too many people working 2, 3, 4 jobs just to get by. And I am not just talking about George Osborne. So the TUC and the unions are demanding, and I want you to join us, we are demanding a new deal for working people. We want an end to cheap labour. We want no more divide and rule. And in
big business. We want workers to get a pay rise. We want solutions, not scapegoats. And we demand the right to remain for EU citizens. So let's join together. Let's take strength from each other. And brothers and sisters, love will overcome hate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Give it up for Fort So Crazy!
Reduces to SD to get.
I'd now like to welcome
to get the last remaining space in the car.
who is here representing Hornsey and Wood Green. She's a member of Parliament for Hornsey and Wood Green. Everyone, please give a warm welcome to Labour MP Catherine West.
Let's see.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and fabulous to see such a great turnout outside Parliament today. And the worst image in all of the TV coverage this week was the photograph of Nigel Farage and Marine Le Pen.
Oh, right.
They're great friends. This is a step towards an outcome that we are here today to say, no way. Because Nigel Farage has always said he's a perfectly reasonable choice on the ballot paper. But he is standing alongside a fascist. The Front National is a fascist organisation, and we must contact every single person we know in France to say, you must not vote for them when it comes up on the 23rd of April. We cannot have the Front National in France, regardless of any excuse that may come their way. The Front National and Nigel Farage are of the same ilk. So please, friends in France, think carefully as you cast your vote, and cast your vote for fairness. All well said, and this is relating to Mr. Trump. Lies are truth, good is bad, war is peace, fantasy is fact. And that is what Mr. Trump is saying at the moment to us. And we know that Mr. Trump would love to come here on a state visit because he would like to be treated as normal. But he's not normal. He's not normal if he is going to enforce the travel ban, which is an absolute disgrace and an affront, not just to Muslims. We don't stand up for Muslim friends, neighbours. We'll be next. That is the rule. Regardless, it is a discriminatory ban. And until that ban is lifted, there should be no state visit. We are not rolling out the red carpet for Trump while that ban is in place. The other point I wanted to make is about refugees, and I'm very pleased to see, wave your banner if it says refugees welcome here. Fantastic. Because we know that the children who have suffered being trafficked by disgraceful human traffickers, suffering rape, suffering the most disgraceful treatment. We know that they're welcome here. We know because Lord Dubs brought his amendment through Parliament, which all Labour MPs voted for. Sadly, the government overturned that, but we're not giving up. We will bring that back to Parliament. We will work with colleagues across Parliament to ensure that vulnerable children are welcome here in the UK. Finally, a thank you, not just to our organisers today, but also to all of our local authority colleagues, all of our councillors up and down the country, who are saying councils can support more children refugees. There was the excuse which the government gave, which said councils can't cope. When councils were asked, they said, yes, we can. We will take more children, we can look after vulnerable people, we can have a fairer society, we can have a more equal society where we share out the good that is in front of us. So thank you for today. Thank you for being in solidarity with refugees, with all of those affected by racism and by discrimination. Together we can fight it. Together we can have the fairer society which we all seek. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. I'd now like to welcome someone who has first-hand experience of what it's like when the far-right and fascist gain MEPs in the European Parliament. Please give a very warm welcome to Member of the European Parliament for London, Claude Moraes, MEP.
Thank you very much, Savi. 30,000 of you, 30,000, bigger than last year. What an honour to be here. Fantastic crowd. Thank you very much, Savi. And this crowd and this enthusiasm is repeated all over Europe. We heard this morning from Wayman that what you are doing here is being united not just with people in the UK but with people all over Europe and the European Union. And the first thing that they want to hear from trade unionists, from young and old, from black and white, from LGBT and straight, from all of you here, is that EU citizens in the UK should be guaranteed their rights. They are welcome, they are contributing, along with all the immigrants and migrants who make a contribution here in the United Kingdom, all together, in our public services, in our daily lives, in our communities. Make a noise for them. They are welcome here. But let's be very clear. Racism here in the United Kingdom or anywhere else must be fought. And that means that in Hungary today, where children are being detained simply because they're getting a better life, or people in the Mediterranean who are drowning because they are seeking a better life, or people who are crossing the border from the United States to Canada and freezing to death because they want a better life, are watching you making the time to take a march, to protest because you care. So don't tell anyone that protest is wrong or ineffective. It matters to them, it matters to us, and it will be effective with parliamentary action. We care and we will make a difference. And finally, we have to be united because any action in this country matters, because there will be a ripple across any other country. And that means that in that place, when we were asked to do one simple thing, when members of Parliament were asked to pass the Dubs Amendment to allow a small number of refugee children to come into the United Kingdom, they could not even vote for that. And that indicates a meanness and a racism which is coming into our national lives. That is where we are today, and we are protesting because we oppose that racism. So today is an important day. Let's send a signal that we supported that Dubs Amendment because that was a historical moment. We don't want to be that meaner society. We want to be united. We want to be strong. You are right to come here, right to march, and right to send a message right across the world. Today is the Anti-Racism Day, not for a refugee crisis in the UK or Europe, but a global crisis. And we answered in a global way. Internationalism, not nationalism, internationalism and protest. We did the right thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claude. I'd now like to welcome our next speaker. She is standing in for the General Secretary of UCU, who is Sally Hunt, who is unfortunately unable to make it today because she's got a stinking cold. So get well soon, Sally. Everybody say get well soon to Sally.
Get well soon, Sally.
So our next speaker in place of Sally is the past president of UCU, Liz Lawrence.
Thank you very much. Greetings from the University and College Union. I'd like to say congratulations to everybody who's been marching today.
And congratulations to the stewards and organisers who've put together a fantastic demonstration. Our people are marching worldwide, and we're part of a global resistance to racism and sexism, part of a global movement for the rights of migrants and refugees. Now, UCU represents academic and related staff in universities and colleges. Our members and our students come from all over the world. And if you think about it, universities, by their nature, have to be international. We can't confine knowledge to the boundaries of one nation state. You know, many refugee academics have come here and made a fantastic contribution over the centuries to our universities. And we must continue to say that refugees, academic refugees, are welcome here. So that's the first thing I want to say.
Yes, universities can't work
Secondly, I'd like
with
to talk a
borders.
bit about further education. Because our members in further education colleges teach English speakers of other languages. They teach ESOL courses. And these courses are often cut by government funding. But actually, our members who teach these courses will tell you that refugees and migrants want to learn English. There isn't a need for compulsion, we just need to fund the courses decently. And we must keep struggling to get that educational provision funded. Now, since the referendum, like many unions, UCUs have a lot of anxious queries from members who are EU citizens but aren't UK nationals. We've been extending our legal aid scheme to help people with their applications for residence. We've been doing all these things to support our members. And we've been pressing the government about the right of EU citizens to stay here, because we must demand that right to stay. We must demand the right of workers to live and work anywhere. We must support the principle of free movement of labour. We have to tackle exploitation of migrant workers. We have to say very clearly, the answer is immigration control. The answer is enforcing decent labour standards and unionised terms and conditions of employment. So we need international workers' solidarity. So that's really what I wanted to say here. We must defend the rights of workers, including their right to live and work and study anywhere. We must build a united anti-racist movement. Solidarity for UCU.
Rather, it will not.
Thank you so much. I want to ask people, can they squeeze more into the square? Can you get more into the square?
Okay.
It shows you the size of the demonstration that we're able to spill out into the road. Give yourself a big cheer.
I'm not going to host up.
I want to introduce President Beck. He's a former detainee in Guantanamo.
Oh.
And what we're told by Donald Trump, that torture works. The so-called leader of the free world talks about going back into medieval times.
Oh, well, no, no.
We have to give a big welcome to President because he's been up and down this country calling for human rights, calling for justice. President!
Good afternoon, everyone. Before I start, can I just get you all to smile? Assalamu alaikum. You know, right across by the Houses of Parliament, there's a triumphant man on a horse, wielding his sword. His name is Richard the Lionheart. He's supposed to be the most quintessential example of Englishness. The man couldn't speak a word of English. If you take a look at our royal family right now, their original name is Saxe-Coburg-Gotha. Beg sounds more English than that. What is Englishness and Britishness, and what are these values that we've been told? The word England comes from a place in Angland, which is in Germany. The word Britain comes from a place in France, Brittany. What does it mean? This country has been completely, from its history till now, built by people who have migrated from outside. Its language. The language, the culture, the customs, the food. Where would you be without the curry and the noodles and the pasta and the pizza? And the list goes on and on and on. We have all contributed to this society. But people don't want to recognize it. Over 400,000 Indians from the Indian subcontinent fought for the British Empire. You've got statues that commemorate animals that were killed in the war, and still there's been no recognition. People that were under colonization and what they contributed to this empire and what it took from us in blood, sweat and tears. You know, take Admiral Nelson at Trafalgar. You know, the word Admiral comes from the Arabic Amir of Bihar, which means the leader of the sea, and Trafalgar is another Arabic word which means the place of the West. Arsenal. Our famous football team comes from the Arabic Dar al-Sina, which means a place of manufacture of weapons. There are hundreds of words in this language that we use to this day, from Hindi, from Farsi, from Arabic, from French, from Latin, from German. The list goes on and on and on. Don't give us this nonsense that the foreigners of this, that who people have come and migrated to this country haven't made it what it is today. But the problem is this: as you see the rise of the far right, and I was told that our friend, our mutual friend, Tommy Robinson, tried to infiltrate, and it was unceremoniously sent packing. You see, the thing is, my friends, my brothers and sisters in struggle and humanity, the thing is this: that this movement, the anti-racism movement, has managed to smash the BNP, smash the EDL. They are no longer of any consequence. But let's not pat ourselves on the back too early, because some of their views have become mainstream. The rise of the far right and the Nazis and the fascists has seen a new wave with the election of Donald Trump, who said when he came to power, "I'm going to load up Guantanamo with some bad dudes." So my response is, when are you going, dude? Donald Trump, make it clear in our minds, endorses torture. He said, "I think torture works." He says waterboarding is something that I would do, and a lot more. Waterboarding, my dear friend, is a war crime. It was first used in the Spanish Inquisition on Muslims, on Jews, on other heretically deemed groups of Christians. How could it be that this man endorses war crimes and is welcomed as a friend by Theresa May? My dear friends and brothers and sisters, it's simply this: we've got to stand together, knock racism on its head. There is only one race, the human race. Let's make sure that we're part of it. Thank you.
Excelente. Excelente.
Such an excellent speech that demonstrates why we should stand together in unity.
Let's see again.
I just want to say about Tommy Robinson, he came here on his own. That's because he's got no more mates left. Because we chased them away up and down the country and we broke them. Black and white did it. Muslim and Christian did it. Workers, we did it together and we broke them. Then and we'll do it again. I'd like to invite Taylor Ahmed from the Muslim Council of Britain. We should give him a big cheer because we have to show all the time that we stand together. Taylor.
Muslim Council of Britain.
Friends, greetings from the Muslim Council of Britain. As ever, I'm so grateful to all of you for turning up today, and we're so proud that London and Britain again and again has stood up and has shown that we will not tolerate bigotry, racism, Islamophobia. You know, let me tell you this: when I was walking out of Westminster Station, there were two white ladies, I say white deliberately, helping a black hijabi woman carry her pram off the stairs. This is what London is about. This is what Britain is about. We do not divide people based on their color. We do not divide people based on their religion. We do not divide based on their culture. But there's something that we need to be extremely careful about. While the people have spoken, and again we have shown that we will stand together, unfortunately our political leadership across the political spectrum, with varying degree, has shown a greater willingness to accept the scapegoating, to accept the sort of prejudicial, to accept the kind of hate-filled narrative that is infiltrating into the politics of our society. You know, today you probably have seen that a very senior UN officer resigned. Why? The new UN Secretary General forced her either to withdraw a report where she called Israeli conduct in Palestine and the Palestinians as nothing short of apartheid. So what we see is that the effect of Donald Trump is not just within the United States, but that it is spreading across to the wider world. And we have seen the despot, certain senior figures from governments in some Arab countries lining up, applauding him. So what it shows is that while the people are rightly standing up for freedom, for progress, for plurality, some within our government is taking the clock backward. And we need to say in very loud and clear voice that we will not stand for it. And that extends not just when it comes to state visits, but it extends to how we conduct our politics, how we look after the vulnerable in our society, how we ensure accountability of our security services, our police, our politicians. It goes across the board. And on that note, I can't resist commenting on this. Yesterday you have seen George Osborne now going to become the editor of Evening Standard. A newspaper can appoint anybody they like as editor. But the reason I find it alarming is that it is this Evening Standard that fed much of the Islamophobic narrative of the gun-by mayoral race. If that is anything to go by, unfortunately I think it marks a new law. We hope and ask that Osborne surprises us, but obviously you'd have to be quite an optimist to expect that. But let me end on this note, that we have come long way to build a better society. We have come long way to get rid of the unglorious empire and to build a prosperous, a progressive, a pluralistic Britain. And we will continue that struggle for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paula. We're now going to be playing a special video message from the leader of the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
It's the United Nations Anti-Racism Day. There could not be a more important time to redouble our efforts in fighting racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism and all forms of discrimination. We must also end the racism of economic injustice and inequality which our black and Asian communities face disproportionately. There is no doubt that Britain would not be the place it is today without the enormous contribution of all of our diverse communities. Our economic success and our social advances are all inextricably linked to our diverse society and the positive role of migrants to our community.
So we should live stream this, shouldn't we?
The Labour Party knows this, and it's at the heart of what we do. My first act on election as leader of the party was to speak to the Refugees of Welcome rally in Parliament Square. And last year, I went to see the Calais refugee camps for myself. This week, I met with Alf Dubs and young refugees who, thanks to his efforts, now live safely in Britain, where they will make an enormous contribution to our society. But the government has thwarted Alf's efforts at every turn. This is the same government that has rejected Labour's efforts to ensure that European nationals who've made their lives in Britain can continue to live and work here. The Tories are treating people in Britain as bargaining chips instead of human beings. When the government is so apathetic towards human rights, It's no surprise that a report just published by the Trade Union Congress has found that 1 in 3 black and Asian minority ethnic people have experienced or witnessed racist abuse since the Brexit vote. Labour will continue the fight against prejudice and fight for the communities that we represent. We will not be divided. In place of division, we must all come together to celebrate our diverse communities and our shared heritage.
Can I ask you to do 3 things for me? The first thing is, I'm going to ask everybody here to join Stand Up to Racism, because we need to build a bigger organisation. The second thing I'm going to ask you to do is to make sure you give generously to the organisation, because it costs money to do it. The third reason is this: when Donald Trump comes to this country, we want to give him the warmest welcome he's ever received anywhere else. And when they say, why didn't he come earlier? He said he was afraid of trouble. And he was right. He was afraid because we came out and demonstrated. And he said he wanted to wait to see if it calmed down. Are we going to calm down? Are we going to take to the streets? Are we going to send a message in solidarity with the Mexican workers? Are we going to stand in solidarity with the women? With the trans, with the black and white people, with the trade unions, with our planet for climate change. Because if we stand together against Donald Trump has become the cheerleader of every racist in the world. It's till Le Pen looks to him. It's till Wilders looks to him. Every racist in the world, every anti-Semite, every Islamophobia looks to Donald Trump. And we have a duty to come out on that day. And I tell you what I think we should do. We should make sure that Theresa May pays for inviting him. Because we have to also send a message to her. She thinks by putting on the clothes of UKIP that she can win in the same way. Because the main impact at the moment of racist politics is to make fascist or far-right organisations, is to make racism acceptable and normalised. That's been its main impact. But we're not going to let that happen. Didn't we beat the BNP? Did we make the leaders of the BNP cry and barking? And I think we were vicious. Did we kick the EL's ass all over the world country? So that's what I would like for people to do. Make sure that we send that message. Because I tell you what, I think it's important now that we recognise something. We are at a turning point. There's polarisation. But we can win provided we organise and prepare. That's the lesson of history. We should make sure that what happened last time doesn't happen again. I've been wound up, so I'm going to stay wound up. Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond. I'd now like to introduce our next speaker, who is here representing disabled people against the cuts. Please give a warm welcome to Martin Collins.
Solidarity to everybody here today. In the 1930s, a man called Adolf Hitler came for the disabled community. They were gassed and killed. And it's happening again here today in 21st century Britain. Disabled people have been fighting this pernicious, vile Tory government since 2010. We've had our services cut. Many of us have died in the tens of thousands, all in the name of Tory austerity. We are fighting this government. We have occupied Parliament twice. We have occupied the grounds of Westminster Abbey. And still, they say we are not worth it. I say, yes, we are. We are worth it. Each and every single one of you are worth it. Do not let this Tory government divide and conquer. Unite! Unite like you've never united before. We are dying in the tens of thousands. Do not let 1939 happen again. Unite! United in numbers, we are strong. Divided, we fall. Unite! Unite! And unite again! Kick out this fall! Glory! Murdering government! Thank you!
Thank you very much, Martin, for that amazing speech. Give it up for Martin!
He was stood there, was he?
And our next speaker is another parliamentarian who has been solidly standing up for black communities and standing up to racism. Please give a very warm welcome to David Lammy MP!
Can you see us, Donald Trump? Can you see us, Theresa May? We are marching against fascism and racism, yes? This week, Nigel Farage met with Marine Le Pen, and we are sending a message that we do not want that fascism and xenophobia across our planet and in our country. My parents arrived in this country in the 1950s to signs that said no black, no Irish, no dog. And we thought, because of so much struggle, that by the time we got to the 21st century, we had turned our backs on racism. And then we get June the 23rd. We get a rise in hate crimes across the country almost by 50%. And so we march. We march for that Polish man killed in Harlow. Yes? We march for those Muslim women who are attacked for wearing a hijab. Yes? We march for so many black children still suffering from stop and search. Yes? We march in solidarity. We can see you. Does this audience want George Osborne, editor of The Standard?
No.
Does this audience want a hard Brexit that means we no longer have free movement of people across Europe?
No.
And does this audience want to see Donald Trump arriving in this country with the full trappings of the state? We're watching you, Donald Trump. We know that you are supported by the Ku Klux Klan. We know that you are supported by the alt-right and the racism and xenophobia that they trot out. And we say to Theresa May, we saw you holding his hand, and we condemn it. And on foreign policy, we condemn your decision to arrive in Turkey to sell arms. We see the double standard. We see what Saudi Arabia are doing in Yemen and across the Middle East. We're keeping an eye on you. And so together, black and white, rich and poor, young and old, many of us come together because we know what history tells us. And we feel that we are sleepwalking into the 1920s and 1930s again. And we will not stand by and let
that kind of fascism that picks on vulnerable people go by without protest and without resistance. And let me just say this, particularly to our media. I was watching the coverage of the general elections in the Netherlands this week, and there was a lot of applause that the centre ground had won. But you know, even where there's the centre ground, it took the centre ground following nasty anti-immigrant rhetoric to win. And so we see something else happening. What was the hard right has moved into mainstream political parties. We now have these people sitting in the cabinet in our own country. And I have to say, I'm watching it to my own party deploying this anti-immigrant rhetoric. No. No, no, no. We fight it because we know where it leads. It has always been the case, as night follows day, when the economy goes down and crashes, when recession comes, you encourage poor people to look to the other and blame them. The problems of this country, and there are significant structural economic problems in Britain, must be landed at the door of successive governments, Conservative and Labour, not at the door of Europe and immigrants. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Okay. That's very good.
Thanks a lot, David Lummy. Give me a round of applause again. I'm Zach Cochran from Love Music, Hate Racism and Stand Up to Racism. I want to thank you all for coming today. You are part of tens of thousands of people across Europe who marched to say no to racism. There were 30,000 people on this demonstration today. You should be all very proud of yourself. 40 coaches from around the country. That shows the opposition to racism. Now you may have seen at the start of the week the relaunch of Love Music, Hate Racism. I want to give a special thank you to Atlantic Records and Paul for helping us to do that. You may have seen the likes of Coldplay, of Ed Sheeran and some fantastic acts wearing Love Music, Hate Racism t-shirts. Give them a round of applause, all those fantastic acts for showing their opposition to racism. Now we've got a clear message of Love Music, Hate Racism. We say racism divides us, music unites us. That's the simple slogan. That was the slogan of Rock Against Racism. That's the slogan of Love Music, Hate Racism. It's a simple message that we want to continue here today. Now, it would only be fitting, you've heard the music float that we just had on the march there. I hope you all enjoyed and had a dance. We need to continue the music now. I want you all to give a special welcome to two fantastic up-and-coming performers. Give a massive round of applause for EMAC and IQ who are going to perform for us today.
Hello everyone. It's nice to see all the nations together. I love it. But right now we're going to bring a vibe to the stage.
I think of Christmas. It sounds cold.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah. I know you gonna know the feeling. We can do more than reason. She can do her body's moving. Baby girl, only you that I'm choosing. From the way she smiled, she said I choose wild. Yeah, she waves aloud. Girl, come take this now. I know you gonna know the feeling. We can do more than anything. She can take all these reasons. Baby girl,
Right, so I'm going to ask people what they've experienced the rise in racism and things like that since Brexit. Might be a bit of a difficult task. But after all the speeches now, I haven't got any memory of that. Could go and get an 8 gig, for God's sake. The entire.
She wanna slow, she don't want it fun. She said that she go slower. Put your leg from my shoulder. Run it like a lawnmower. Baby, let me do it slower, slower. Fiona, 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 Fiona. I'm in the Mona. Baby, come closer, closer. I know you both know the feeling. You can do more than anything. You can say body reasons. Baby girl, only you don't listen. From the way she smiled, she said I keep wild. Yes, you wait aloud. Girl, come take this now. I know you don't know the feeling.
Could you ask if you can ask he was at the DPAC protest on Tuesday. I'm not sure of his name, but I was going to maybe try and get down to it.
I don't say you want to know if he was there, or...
whether he might want a short interview about Parliament. Maybe a short interview about shutting down Parliament Square.
Give you an interview.
We're in London, it's hard to save up and all of that. Give me as much volume as I can get. I want to kill them with some vibes.